So Star Wars The Old Republic is a RPG MMO, so a massive multiplayer role-playing game set 3,000 years before the events of the movies. It takes place in the Old Republic time period, and players take the roles of either heroes from the Galactic Republic or people from the Sith Empire, who are sort of the invading force, right as a giant galactic war is about to get started. We decided to place the events back in the Old Republic time period for two reasons. One, we'd already had experience, obviously. The one big game we did with Lucas before was Knights of the Old Republic. And the reason we decided to do it both then and now is that placing it outside of the movies gives us a huge amount of freedom. Once you get outside of the movies, you can create your own characters, you can create your own timelines, you don't really have to worry about fitting into anything else. You know, entire empires can rise and fall. Trying to do a giant history-spanning piece in the time period of the movies is very hard because we already know who's important, right? Han is important, Leia is important, Luke's important. I'm not important. There's not much I can do. So by removing that, we actually let the players be the heroes of the time period. The combat system in the Old Republic is turn-based in the classic sense that behind the scenes, it is actually numbers and things running, but it doesn't play like that at all. We originally had a very traditional combat system for an MMO. You went in there, you did your little dance, you know, numbers went above your head. It didn't feel like Star Wars at all. It failed. We didn't want to try to innovate in combat, but we realized we had no choice. So we went back and we looked at the Old Republic and we said, okay, what was in Knights of the Old Republic? What made it really exciting? And it was the fact that everything was choreographed. Lightsabers actually connected, you could tell where the explosions were going, people flew the right directions, it felt real. Of course, in Knights of the Old Republic, we could actually make it really turn-based, so it was much easier to do. Now we had to say, okay, now we need to choreograph all that combat, we need to make it look real, we need to make the lightsabers flash, we need to make everything happen while I'm running and gunning in a server-based architecture in real time. And we've actually managed to do it, but it's probably the single biggest hurdle that we had trying to make the game. One of the first things we thought when we started to get the classes was, okay, what are people's fantasies? Obviously, people want to be Jedi Knights. People want to be Sith. People love lightsabers. But people also love Han Solo. Like, when I was a kid, I wanted a lightsaber, but I wanted to be Han. Han was cool, Han got the girl, Han had the ship. You know, Luke had cool powers. He wasn't really a cool guy. Same thing, so many people collected Stormtroopers. Stormtroopers were awesome. The clone troopers in the movie are great. There's a reason they're such a big part of the new series. So we realized, you know, Boba Fett's in the movie for how long, and he became the icon of everything. And so we realized there were a lot of Star Wars fantasies out there. What was important was establishing that these guys could all hang with the Jedi and the Sith. Luckily, in the new movies, we actually get to see a ton of this, right? Jango Fett fights Obi-Wan Kenobi to a standstill. The clones wipe the Jedi off the face of the earth. Obviously, the best of one and the best of the other can go head-to-head. It's really about the bounty hunter, which you saw today, with his grappling hook, pulling people in, and his flamethrower, and his missile launchers, using all the gadgets and gear at his disposal to actually mete out the Jedi's natural abilities with the Force. There will absolutely be PvP in the game. We have not discussed exactly the nature it's going to take. You know, the thing we keep saying is it's Star Wars, not Star, let's sit down and have a nice talk, right? Like, the war has to be a huge part of it. There's a reason there's not a neutral faction. You have to pick a side. You've got to be on one side of the war or the other. And the two sides do not like each other at all. We are talking about the threat of complete extinction between the two sides.